Welcome, Amakhosi Network. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to chat about the blunder, the big mistake that Kaizer Chiefs management made that is going to result in one of the new Chiefs signed players not being able to be in the Soweto derby. Meaning that going into the derby, Chiefs is going to have a striker problem. But before we get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe. So, Kaizer Chiefs management made a blunder. We all know that they signed Tashreeq Morris. Tashreeq Morris was signed from SuperSport United. Before Tashreeq was signed from SuperSport United, the guy had a red card. He was serving his 2-game suspension. So the guy had a red card, serving his 2-game suspension, and that was fine. So we all knew that, okay, Tashreeq won't be available for Chiefs until the Soweto derby. Well, that's what we thought. That's what everyone thought. But then, do you know what happened? Kaizer Chiefs decided to sign Tashreeq Morris after the Free Agents FC game, right? That's problem number one. They decided to sign Tashreeq Morris after that Free Agents FC game. But here's the kicker. Here is the kicker of note. After they signed Tashreeq Morris, after that game, they were meant to not, and let me say this clearly, they were meant to not sign Tashreeq Morris until SuperSport United had played their game. The one where Sahile scored, yes, that game, yeah, and that was on Tuesday. Chiefs was not meant to sign Tashreeq Morris until that game reached 90 minutes and it ended. But what happened? Chiefs did register Morris before that SuperSport game, which meant what? Which meant that Tashreeq Morris, then eventually it means he only served a 1-game suspension. Because if Chiefs had signed him before the Free Agents FC game, Tashreeq was going to be sitting out that Free Agents FC game, and that was going to be the 2nd game he's serving as a suspension. But because Chiefs did not register him before the Free Agents FC game, it means that he still had to serve 1 more game suspension. So Chiefs decided, okay, we're not going to register him before Free Agents FC. That's fine. But he still has the SuperSport game. But then they make the mistake by registering him before SuperSport plays. Meaning that the moment Kaizer Chiefs registered Tashreeq Morris, he effectively became a Kaizer Chiefs player. And do you know what the issue with that is? The issue was that they registered Morris before Tuesday, meaning that before Tuesday, he was already a Kaizer Chiefs player and he still had 1 more game to serve in his suspension, which means before Tuesday, he had 1 more game he still had to serve. And that means that if he registered as a Kaizer Chiefs player, that next game will be the Soweto derby. So management made a mistake. Management fumbled. Management did not get the details right. Meaning now that Nabi has to go into the Soweto derby with only one recognized striker. And that is Chivavero. The other thing Nabi has to do, and he's going to be forced to do, is bring Hlongwane into the team for the Soweto derby, because Hlongwane is the only other player in Kaizer Chiefs who is a recognized striker. It's just that what is the biggest issue with Hlongwane? He has never played a senior game before in his life. So management have really made it difficult for Nabi, because where Nabi now sits is that he now has to figure out how he's going to play largely with Chivavero. Yes, and I said it. Chivavero is going to be our starting striker on Saturday against Orlando Pirates. Because, why am I saying this? A lot of you are going to say, why would, it's not a force Nabi must start Chivavero. He can easily start Naledi Hlongwayo. He can easily start that boy. But you see, this is where it becomes complicated. Starting Uhlongwane against Orlando Pirates, it can easily break the boy. And that's where it becomes difficult. Ranga can take the criticism, but you don't know how Hlongwane is built. Because, why am I saying this? In the past few games, we have been playing with Dupree and Wandile Duba, meaning that Nabi has taken a back seat to playing Ranga Chivavero. Ranga Chivavero has been coming off the bench. But with this Morris and the Duba injury, because yes, Duba is injured and it's been assessed that he might be out for about 6 weeks. Dupree is still out. He's still out for, I think, a few weeks. So the only strikers we have are those two. So management made a very, very big mistake there. And I know a lot of you are going to say, it's not a big mistake because Morris is like a defender striker, Giafana, etc., etc. And I'm like, yeah, but we can say the same for Ranga Chivavero. But who would we rather have? A Ranga who can't even trap, who can't even header, or a Morris who can at least do those things? Because Morris has been well developed from AX Cape Town. So he can at least do those things, even if Yenanai, he's not a very good striker. But the things that Ranga fails to do, I believe Morris can do. So that is the biggest problem. As much as people are saying he won't score, yeah, but Nabi, I think at this point wants Morris for a different kind of role. He will score some goals for Chiefs, but the role he will play at Chiefs is going to be helping his wingers score, like Abo Serino, Mdu Shabalala, and whoever is playing on the right, which is the other problem we have to address. And this is the problem I wanted to raise. I hope Bobby and Kaizer and all of these guys have a connection within Home Affairs who can push the registration of Lollipop to be signed before the derby. Why am I saying this? Because Lollipop is going to have a visa issue, and then registering him to be ready for the derby, it may be a problem. If this guy is not registered for the derby, we are going to be short of attackers, meaning that our attackers are going to be Mdu Shabalala, Serino, Potani, Modi, and Ranga Chivavero. Those are going to be our attackers. And a lot of these guys that I just mentioned now should not even be starting against Pirates. So it's going to be a very interesting thing that we're going to see from Nabi. I really hope Nabi finds a way to work around this, because yeah, if two of your signings can't make it into the team and you now have an injury problem with your team, the derby is going to be a very difficult one. Because the one thing I'll say is this: Chiefs will most likely concede against Pirates. Chiefs will most likely concede against Pirates, but we're going to have our chances. We are going to have our chances in that Pirates game. And do you know what is going to be the difference in that Pirates game? Pirates is either going to hammer us by a lot of goals, or Chiefs is going to convert their chances. Because I'm going to repeat this. If Chiefs were to ever convert 80% of the chances they create, a lot of teams would be looking at a scoreline of nothing less than 4-0. Because Chiefs creates a lot of chances. And if we just convert 80%, I'm telling you, teams are going to get 7, 8, 9, because of the amount of chances we create as a team. But other than that, maybe the last talking point I'll raise is Thabo Cele. Thabo Cele seems like he will make the derby. He's a South African. He's fit. Everything in him, everything in that Thabo Cele part, I feel like meets the criteria. The only thing I want to say that is very interesting about our management. Our management failed to sign Basadin, failed to sign Matuludi, failed to sign Apollos. They failed to sign the left back, Mohamed Hussein. They have failed to sign so many players, right? And then they signed Lollipop late. Now he may have a registration issue. They signed Morris late. Now he has a suspension. And then on top of that, our best player right now, well, the best signing in my books right now, based on what I've seen on all the players, Thabo Cele is not even a player that they were looking for. Yes, they've been wanting for him from previous seasons, but he's always been contracted he was free agents when he rejected. He wanted to go back to Europe. But I'm like, in this transfer window, I don't even think they were even considering Thabo Cele. Thabo Cele just happened to be a player whose situation changed at his club. His contract got terminated and he found his way at Chiefs. So, the thing I want to say is, Thabo Cele, as good as he is, he was not even a priority in Chiefs' books for the transfer window that we're just talking about now. So, Chiefs management, in essence, what I'm trying to say, I know a lot of you are going to feel like I'm confusing you. What I'm trying to say is, a lot of the Chiefs targets that Chiefs wanted, they did not get. They did not get all of the players that they wanted. But the players that they accepted that they're going to get are either suspended or are questionable. Because, let's be honest, Apollos was the first option. We could not get Apollos. They turned their attention to Lollipop. Morris was not even no one was even thinking of Morris because Saile was supposed to be going to Chippa United. And then SuperSport was like, can we have Saile? And then the Morris deal now came up. It was now a negotiable deal. And the thing about Morris that is very funny is that Morris was a free agent before he signed for SuperSport United. So it's not like the player was not available in the market in the beginning of the season. When Nabi was looking for players or strikers in the beginning of the season, Morris was a free agent. And SuperSport decided to give him a... You know what's even funny? SuperSport called him for trials. They called him for trials. He trialed, unless I'm mistaken, but if I recall correctly, SuperSport called him to train with them, and then Kevin Hunt gave the green light and said, I want him, and they signed him. And then Nukovic came into the picture. They signed Nukovic, and now Samir Nukovic. Remember, Samir is also a free agent, so they could have even signed Samir Nukovic. But anyway, I see collab. All I can say is that my FC management, some of their decisions are very questionable. But you guys will let me know what you think. Amakhosi for life.